kids, it's Mrs. Compton. Remember we did this fraction poster together? And we made some connections, right? So we had one whole here, and then we broke the whole into half. So we had, this was 1 out of 2 pieces and 1 out of 2 pieces. So the denominator, that's this number here on the bottom, the denominator actually tells us how many pieces are the whole is broken into. And then the numerator is talking about this is 1 piece and this is another piece, or however many pieces there are in that case. All right, so we connected halves and fourths. We connected fourths and eighths. And we connected thirds and sixths and so on, right? Do you guys remember doing that? All right, so I want to know for today's warm-up, what do you know about 1/4? All right, so this would be a really good time to hit pause. And I want you to think about all the things that you know about 1/4. I'm going to step aside so you can hit pause and see the chart. All right. So I'm going to take some guesses on some of the things that you noticed. So I'm going to guess that some of you knew that 1/4 is half of 1/2. So maybe you would say half of 1/2. Or another way to think about that is it would take 2 1/4 to make a half. We can kind of see that, right? If we move our poster a little, get crafty, you can see that matches right there. And then it would take 1, 2 of them, right? So maybe you put that on your list. It takes 2 1/4 to make 1/2. Or maybe you thought about it in eighths. Maybe you thought, all right, I could break 1/4 into eighths. I don't know if I can get too crafty here, you guys. I don't know. I'm just gonna have to compare it like this. So if I take this and head on down, how many eighths would it take to make 1/4? Maybe you realized it takes 2 of them, right? And we can use number bonds. Number bonds are so helpful with fractions. So even though you might not see it in your book or like out and about, remember, number bonds save lives. I tell you this all the time. Okay, I'm going to guess some of you probably thought about money because some of you probably know that this can be said as 1/4 or 1 out of 4. So 1/4, 1 out of 4. But this is the time where kids always connect in with money. I always start hearing kids say, well, it can also be said 1/4. So we can call this fraction 1/4. And it connects into money because how many quarters do you need to make $1? The answer to that is, of course, 4, right? So here's our dollar bill. And you would need 4 of them to make a whole dollar, right? And here's just one piece would be worth 25 cents. So this is also why it's called 1/4, because it's 1 out of 4. 1 out of 1, 2, 3, 4. So maybe you might say it'd be worth 25 cents. 25 cents. Like that, right? This would be 3/4 of a dollar because there were 3 quarters. Half of a dollar, you'd have to have 2 and 2, right? Okay, there's probably so many more things that you have thought about, but I love playing Notice and Wonder, and I love doing what do you know about and looking at fraction bars. So I think we're ready. We're going to do a story, and I'm going to hit pause. I'll be right back. All right, we've got our story, and it's all about Mary and Vincent climbing a rock wall. All right, so Mary and Vincent climbed a rock wall at the park. Mary climbed 3/4 of the way up the wall. Vincent climbed 3/8 of the way up the wall. Who climbed higher? So it looks like we're comparing Mary's height that she climbed with Vincent's height. So let's write Mary and Vincent. Now we know that Mary climbed 3/4 of the way. and Vincent climbed 3/8 of the way. So what are you noticing about the two numbers, 3/4 and 3/8, as you're just comparing and noticing and wondering? Maybe you noticed that they both have the same numerator. That's the top number. So they both have a 3. And then maybe you even noticed that 4 and 8 are connected, right? Do you guys remember that? So let's draw out a fraction model. Actually, you know what? I think I'm going to do it on my board because I'm going to run out of room. I'm going to be all squashed. It's going to get messy. I think I'm just going to go over here. All right, so let's do 3/4. So I want you to draw a rectangle like this. And let's break it into 4 pieces. Start with half, and then break each half in half. Right? Now, Mary climbed 3 out of the 4. So she climbed 1/4, 2/4, 3/4. So you know what? I think I'm just going to go ahead and shade that for Mary. I'll put M here for Mary. Okay, so I can see that she's gone 3/4 of the way up the wall. All right, so now Vincent, same wall, same length, right? Same height of the wall, but he climbed less of it. So I'm going to draw my next rectangle right below. Got the sun shining in here. And remember, 4s and 8s are connected. So let's start by breaking it in half. Break each of the halves in half. So now we have 4 pieces. And now we're going to break each 4th in half again. We'll get 8 pieces. All right, now Vincent climbed 3/8 of the way up the wall. So he climbed, I gotta make it so it's not so sunny on here. He climbed 1/8 and another 1/8 and another 1/8. All right, so we can see who has climbed more or who's climbed farther, right? Who climbed farther? The answer to that is Mary. Another thing you may have known is that 4ths are larger pieces than 8ths, right? So here's your 4th and here's your 8th. So if you're going to have 3 larger pieces versus 3 smaller pieces, you already know your answer, right? All right, kids, it's all up to you now. Make sure you're drawing out those fraction models. Make sure you're making connections between the halves, the 4s, the 8s, the 3rds, the 6ths, so on. All right, I'll see you next time. Bye, kids.